Hey guys, my name is Alvaro and I'm a 3D artist.
Hi, my name is Márcia Georgina. I'm a painter. We created this mini here at Loot.
I sculpted the 3D model of this character in my computer and I brought this miniature to the physical world using my resin 3D printer.
In this video, you will see the whole sculpting and painting process. So, let's go!
To sculpt this mini, I'm using the software called ZBrush. For saving some time, I'm using the same base that I used for the Tavern Keeper. If you didn't watch the Tavern Keeper video, go check it out on our channel. The video is really cool. In this one, I'm trying to make that mysterious guy sitting on a chair on the dark side of the tavern, just watching everyone and smoking his pipe. He's very similar to a very iconic and famous character from a big movie. Do you know who I am talking about? Yes, Aragorn, from The Lord of the Rings. When I posted this character on Instagram, everyone was saying, "Oh, you did Aragorn, awesome!" But it actually isn't him. If you check closely the details, the clothes design, it's different from Aragorn. It is just a reference. I'm a huge fan of the Lord of the Rings movies, and that first scene when we see Aragorn at the prancing pony, he looks very badass. And I thought it was going to be really cool to make a mini similar to that. But Aragorn is a good person. Our guy is very bad. Probably an assassin. You can see a small skull detail holding his hood. There are also 2 daggers attached to his legs. And you can see he makes some money doing dirty jobs because of the coins bag on his belt. It is a big challenge for me as a sculptor to tell all this history and background of a character in a small mini. Every detail is very important to recognize easily who the character is. But I have a lot of fun thinking about all these details. And here is the final result of the sculpting. I really like the result. Now, let's see Márcia doing a great paint job after we print it using my frozen shuffle.
Hi guys, Márcia here. After priming, I will start applying the main color of each part. I chose a grayish green for the cloak, a grayish blue for the shirt, and a greenish ochre for the pants. For that, I added brown. For the belts, I started with the brown base coat. And the boots, a dark gray with a hint of brown. For the gloves, I chose a very dark color, a bluish black. A layer of ochre in the bag, and brown on the dagger cape. Applying orange for the wood of the chair, which will be the same as the base, which I have not yet glued. I made the same wood in more detail in the previous video of the character keeper. My yellow is horrible. and its covering power is terrible. Generally, yellow does not have such an intense covering power, but this brand I am using is worse. In fact, I forgot a valuable tip that I had to paint white before yellow. I ended up forgetting and I had a lot of difficulty covering the area, demanding several coats of orange. Now let's go to a lighter shade of green of the cloak to start forming the volumes. Applying an even lighter shade to illuminate well. It is the first time that I use a wet palette. I did one here, but I didn't have a suitable paper. I ended up using a random one, and it is dissolving. But it is a different experience. I think I will enjoy using wet palette from now on. I put a phone, paper towel, and on top it should be the parchment paper. But I didn't have any parchment at the time, so I used another type of paper. The next video will be even more professional, with more paint too. I bought more colors of a better brand, so I don't have to make so many mixes. Illuminating the pants with a lighter shade. To do lights, I add more colors other than white, like beige, to not leave a faded color. Black and white interfere a lot with saturation, leaving the aspect more grayish or whitish. I used Silly Putty to protect the piece while I used the airbrush to make the shadows. This plasticine prevents it from staining other areas. The contrast between the light and dark colors in the paints is still very intense. I'm still learning and sometimes it is necessary to try to soften and fix the result, always aiming to make it as good as possible. In this way, I'm bringing the light colors closer to the dark color, increasing the area of the lighter and medium tones. I must try the same in the other parts, on the cloak, shirt, gloves and boots. Here, I will leave some light spots on the gloves. Then I soften it with the gray halftones. A bit more light in the pants. applying a color to the skin, remembering that this part is very dark. You can't really see the details of the face because of the hood. Reinforcing more the wood, it's very difficult to cover because of my paint. Now lighter shades for the purse. Also lightening the upper part of the boot's sole. Reinforcing lights in other areas. Making lighter tones for the skin to reinforce lights in spots like the tip of the nose, part between nose and mouth, and a half tone for the lips. In the center, between the upper and lower lip, I will apply a darker, more reddish color. Also, I will simulate the beard with something brownish. I use the airbrush to make more shadows. Applying a little bit of magenta with the airbrush to give a different shade to the cloak. Very subtle because paint is very dilute. Now a medium shade of green to continue smoothing the transition between shadow and light on the cloak. I will leave the belt with some shades of light brown, beige, ochre, orange to make lights and leave you with more color variations. I'm also using a dark tone, almost black, reinforcing the lines of the creases and the pants and between volumes. Now with a dark blue, I made shadows on the shirt. I'm putting gray as a half tone on the gloves. Using metallic silver paint of brand Mr. Hobby on the belt buckles and on the side of the pants. Silly putty again, so as not to risk getting some parts dirty. Again, trying to correct the transitions between light and shadows in the pants. applying a dark color almost black in some lines and creases in the paint. Applying silver to the daggers. I started with the chrome silver color, and then to highlight the light, I added in some points the white silver. Bar shadows. I put a gray color and the pipe smoke. Now with the airbrush, I add white. I put gold on the pipe stem. I mixed matte medium with a brown and beige color to give a dirt effect on the boots and cloak. These are the finishing touches. Then that's it. I hope you like it and subscribe to your channel. Bye bye!